So if you're in the tech world, you've definitely heard about AWS certifications. They're a huge deal for career progression. There's been an update to a key one, the Solutions Architect Associate exam. We're now on version SAA-C03, and it's worth digging into what that actually means.
Absolutely. Let's talk about that update. The new AWS Certified Solutions Architect AWS Associate Exam, the SAA-C03, officially rolled out on the 30th of August 2022. It still does what it's always done, validates that you can build and deploy secure, robust applications on AWS, but now it incorporates newer services and best practices.
I see. And the core topics or domains, as they call them, have shifted a bit, right? It's now focused on designing for security, resilience, high performance, and cost.
Exactly. And that's key because AWS is not a static platform. It's constantly evolving. Keeping the certification current ensures that the professionals holding it are actually aligned with what's happening in the cloud right now. It's about building modern, efficient applications, not something based on 5-year-old standards.
That makes sense. So the SAA-C3 is the current benchmark for these skills, which leads to the big question everyone has. What does this actually mean for your career and, your wallet?
Well, let's get right to it. The AWS Certified Solutions Architect certification is incredibly valuable, especially in the US. Back in 2022, the average annual salary for an AWS Solutions Architect was hovering around $159,000.
Wow, that's a serious number. And it's not just for one specific job title, right? It opens up doors to roles like the Associate Professional Solutions Architect, but also things like Cloud Practitioner or DevOps Engineer.
Right? And that salary isn't just an arbitrary figure, it really reflects how critical that role is. These architects are the strategists. They're the ones making sure a business can actually use the cloud effectively, which directly impacts everything from efficiency to the bottom line. That's why companies are willing to pay top dollar for that expertise.
It's clear it's a major career booster. So, for anyone studying for it, what are the actual differences between this new SAA-C3 exam and the old SAA-C2? Are we talking a complete overhaul?
Not a complete overhaul, but the changes are telling. When you compare the SAA-C3 to the C2, the four main domains are pretty much the same in name, but the scoring weight has been adjusted. For instance, design resilient architectures dropped a bit from 30% to 26%, and design high-performing architectures also went down from 28% to 24%.
Interesting. Um, so, where did that emphasis go?
It shifted towards two other areas. Design secure architectures is now a big one at 30%, but the most notable change, I think, is that design cost optimized architectures got a boost going from 18% to 20%.
So, Daniel, that adjustment, a little less focus on resilience and performance and a bit more on cost, what does that signal to you? What does that say about the challenges architects are facing in the real world?
It's a huge signal. It tells you that the cloud market is maturing. While the fundamentals like security, resilience, and performance are still absolutely critical, AWS is pushing architects to be more strategic about the financial side of their designs. It's not just about building something that works, it's about building it smartly and affordably. Cost management is becoming just as important as the technical implementation.
That's a great point. It's not a blank check anymore. It's about delivering value efficiently. So, what about the people who were in the middle of studying for the old SAA-C2 when this change happened? Is their effort wasted?
Not at all. And that's a common question. The good news is that if you pass the SAC2, that certification is still valid for 3 years from the day you got it. The certificate doesn't even specify which version of the exam you took.
Got it. So, no need to panic and immediately retake the test. For anyone who was in the process, though, the window has closed, right?
That's right. The last day to actually sit for the old SAC2 exam was the 29th of August, 2022, literally the day before the new SAC3 launched. It was a clean cutoff.
It seems like a pretty fair system. It recognizes that skills need to be kept fresh, but also respects the work people have already put in.
Exactly. That 3-year validity is pretty standard, and it allows professionals to stay current without the constant stress of recertifying for every minor platform update. To wrap things up, what are the key things people should remember about this?
Um, I think there are a few big takeaways. First, the SAA-C3 is the current standard, launched on the 30th of August 2022. Second, it focuses heavily on 4 areas: designing for security, resilience, high performance, and especially cost optimization. Third, this certification is highly lucrative, with salaries around $159,000 and opening doors to many jobs. And finally, if you already have the older SAA-C02, don't worry, it's still valid for 3 years.